are listening to an all-new episode of The Christian Gray Snow Show, a podcast from Hurrdat Media. I'm your host, Christian Gray Snow, and today we are celebrating all things BravoCon. BravoCon. Yeah, that's right. Unlike Jen Shaw, who wasn't allowed at BravoCon, your girl was, and I'm ready to tell you everything about it, at least what I can remember when I wasn't drinking margaritas and nearly falling into a bush a la Luann. So, let's get started, everybody. All right, so I sat down to take notes for this episode, and we're just going to go ahead and get it out there that I am overwhelmed, okay? Very overwhelmed. Overwhelmed is the key word of the episode of the weekend at BravoCon. It is just overwhelmed, everything. In a good way at times, sometimes not in a good way, and we'll get into that. But even, it's just crazy that, I've been back from the trip for a full 72 hours now. The convention ended 4 days ago, and I still am having trouble gathering my thoughts. Like, it was that much. Like, it was just everything you could imagine. Like, I mean, everything from, peeing next to a woman while talking about our favorite OGs to, seeing people in Teresa's wedding dress outfit that, like a mock-up of her wedding dress outfit, to whenever you walked, there were stickers with stars along the floor and it had every Bravo celebrity's name you could ever imagine. I'm just like, the details were endless at BravoCon. Like, and I know that a lot of us complained about tickets, including me, because listen, your girl is a broke bitch. I always say I'm more in my Gina K than my Gina Keo era, if you know what I'm saying. But it could not have been more worth the money, even despite some of the things that we're going to get into that obviously, didn't go too well for people. But I wanted to start by saying it's overwhelming in the best way. And when I started to take my notes for this episode, I was like, there's no freaking way that I'm going to be able to just even remember everything that I want to talk about. So the easiest way for me to go about it is I'm going to do like a day by day type of thing. So that way I feel like if I talk about certain days individually, I'll be sure to get all the good details out. Okay, so BravoCon. We're going to start with Thursday, the day that I got there. I arrived very, very early, like 5 o'clock in the fucking morning, because I took a red eye from Seattle. Number one rule for BravoCon: don't take a red eye like the day before, leading into it, because I got there Thursday and I stayed in downtown, which was another mistake. Like I said, I'm Gina K, not Gina Keo. And if you are, catching my drift, is things were very expensive. So I had to stay a little bit further away from everything. I'd planned to take the train from JFK from the airport to downtown to like kill time, because I knew I was taking a red eye and I was coming in early. But then I packed and I left for the trip, and your girl had literally 3 pieces of luggage for a 4 fucking day trip. So there was no fucking way I was about to get on any train or any subway with 3 pieces of luggage schlepping around behind me. Okay. So get to my hotel, and unfortunately the guy looks at me like I'm a fucking idiot if he thinks that I'm going to check in this early. And I was like, excuse me, the app said that I could. The app already checked me in. And he was like, the app's a piece of shit. I don't know who the fuck you're talking to. You're not checking in for at least 6 hours. And I was like, you don't understand. I have very big plans tonight, and I need to get my beauty rest, and he would have sooner let my ass sleep outside in the sidewalk in the rain, because it was raining at the time, than he would have tried to give me a room at that moment. And the thing is not only was it BravoCon weekend, BravoCon. Exactly. It was also apparently like bridal fashion weekend or something like that, and then some other convention too. So New York was just like busy. Okay, so no checking in. They take my luggage. I go to get a coffee. Coffee's not doing anything. I go to the breakfast area because I'm like starting to get to the point where I'm like, I can't see, because like I couldn't sleep on my flight. So I'm like, I'm not sleeping. I'm free. I'm dying. I go to the breakfast area of my hotel and sleep. Okay. Key tip: slept like a baby, 45 minutes, woke up feeling like a brand new woman. After I woke up, I got another coffee, and then boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, I was in my room in an hour. And I just want to apologize to the lady who was working at my hotel. who was cleaning around me when I was sleeping in a booth. She's like cleaning the table and cleaning, and I like woke up and she's like, I'm so sorry. I have to clean, but I'm so sorry to wake you up. And I was like, bitch, I'm literally sleeping in your workplace. Like, I'm sorry. So yeah. Trip got off to a very interesting start, to say the least. But DirecTV party was Thursday night. And thank you to my girl Maggie, Best of Bravo, and Frank over, if you need to follow him on Twitter, he's Feisty Frank. He is fucking fantastic. He works at Watch What Happens Live. They allowed me to come along. Both of them each had me as a +1 to their DirecTV party. DirecTV was kicking off BravoCon weekend. BravoCon. 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 That's what I said. And it was, honestly, looking back, this party was probably one of the highlights of my entire weekend. I don't know why. It was just so fun. There weren't that many people there, but the space was huge. The key people there were Teresa Giudice, Whitney Rose, Kathy Hilton, and Ashley Darby. Okay. And so I get there, and so my plan is to go to dinner with Teresa Thursday night. Correct. And this is happening via Louis, who, had followed me on Instagram after he would see Teresa like repost all my like crazy memes about her and stuff. And so the thing is that Teresa had invited me to Dancing with the Stars to come see her perform at Dancing with the Stars. But I have like literally 0 vacation days at work, and I was trying to find a time and I work in morning radio, and the show Dancing with the Stars would always film on Monday nights. So it was really, really hard for me to try and find a weekend where I wouldn't have to miss work somehow and could also get to the taping on a Monday night. You know what I'm saying? So Teresa had invited me to do that originally, and it didn't work out. And I was really, really upset. And I'm guessing obviously that Louis knew that she had invited me to come down one day. And so then basically he was like, well, then if that didn't happen, we're going to make something at BravoCon happen. And he was like, you know what, we'll stay in touch and we'll see what's good. So a couple days before I get to New York, I'm talking to Louis, and he says, Thursday it is. Like, we're going to go to dinner Thursday. I believe it's going to be us and the Aidens. Okay. So I'm like, is this really happening? Okay, cool. Sign me up. All right. So then change of plans. And how nice is this? They were going to send a car to pick me up. How fucking nice is that? Right? So the car was going to pick me up, but turns out the event that I was going to before going to the dinner was the same one that Teresa was going to be at, the DirecTV party. So that's where I walk up to the party, and Louis is already there. So we met there, and then I meet Teresa for the first time, and she sees me. She knows who I am. I'm like, my girl. And then Kathy is there, Ashley Darby is there, Whitney Rose is there, and it actually worked out really well because obviously if you listen to the show, you know that last week Whitney Rose was on. So the episode was getting ready to drop in a couple of hours, and I was there with her, which is really cool. So she was hosting when I walked in. Whitney knows how to have a good time, and Whitney knows how to host an event. So if any of y'all out there are like working, if any of y'all work at like clubs or event spaces that like have housewives come in and like host parties and stuff, Whitney is a good one to go to. Teresa too. They both knew how to have a good time. They were getting the audience going. Teresa was like pulling people up to play like flip cup. Whitney had a fucking stripper pole come in and had her and Teresa dance around the pole. I mean, like it was a good time. And I was like, okay, now this is what BravoCon is about. All right. Is two women from different franchises who have been on for completely different amounts of time on stripper poles together. And I'm here with the margarita in hand watching it happen. This is what I paid to come here for, literally. So also, I do want to say the amount of Casa del Sol tequila that was at this DirecTV party, for free, was fantastic. It was my first time having it. I had multiple margaritas. So highly suggest getting some of that stuff. Don't be going and getting any of your friend Kendall Jenner's tequila. And I love the Kardashians, but yeah. So Thursday was very interesting. I went from sleeping in a hotel lobby to, hanging out with Teresa Giudice. That was pretty interesting. So after the DirecTV party, We leave, I hop in the car, and it's just me, Teresa, and Louie driving to dinner. I was like, this is cool. Drunk though, very, very drunk, but trying to keep it together. And we get to this dinner. I think it was called like Ava, something. I don't know, Mediterranean food in New York. Delicious, absolutely delicious. Had a wonderful time there. We walk in, Jennifer and Bill Aiden are there saving the table. I think we were a little late. So thank you, Jen and Bill. And drinks start flowing again. And it was just like a couple hours of just like talking, like hanging out, like not even like about the show and Housewives. Like it was just them just being friends and like me being there and like being cool with them. And I mean, it was just like, I couldn't believe it. Like I'm sitting here and I'm like looking around. I'm like, I am at dinner with Teresa fucking Giudice and Jennifer Aiden. Like, hello, life is good. No, but honestly, like serious, like I know I get silly and stuff, but like serious note, how fucking nice of them to bring just me along, little old me. And it's just the five of us having a wonderful dinner, drinks, conversation. You know, it was funny to like get to know Bill and Louie more. And Jennifer Aiden is a fucking hoot. Let me tell you. She's fucking hilarious. And you know, it's just wild. Like the last BravoCon in 2019, I was living in West Hollywood and I didn't get to go. And I remember sitting at home looking at all the posts and everything on my phone. And I have never felt a FOMO like that in my life. So definitely just like a little moment of gratitude, not even a little moment, a big moment of gratitude. Like I went from not even being able to be at the last one to now here I am. It starts tomorrow and I am at dinner with quite literally the most legendary housewife of all time. Like how lucky am I? So very grateful for that. You know, I've always spoken about my loyalty to these OGs, and I think that loyalty to the OGs was the theme for my weekend. Because as you'll see, the weekends, you know, it started off with being with none other than Teresa, Louie, Jen, Bill, and like what a unique experience it was. And then also, oh my God, it was so cool. While we were there, we're sitting there eating, and all of a sudden I look up and Crystal Minkoff was walking right next to our table, and she's like, "Hi," and I was like, "Hello, where did this come from?" And Crystal was so nice. And so Crystal, you know, she didn't sit down. She just like kind of bent down and she was like, I just have to tell, like, you know, she wanted to tell Teresa and Jennifer hi. Those are her Bravo sisters, of course. So that was really, really nice of her. She said that. And then later, like I went to the bathroom and I don't know if she was going to the bathroom or she was leaving. I don't know. But somehow Crystal and I crossed paths and it was just she and I. And she said the nicest thing. She was like, you know what? I'm so proud of you. And I was like, why? And she says, because, you know, she's like, I walk up and I see Teresa and Jennifer and you. She's like, think about that. How cool is that? And I was like, you're going to make me cry. So, yeah, it was just really, really cool. All around an incredible experience. You know, I'm incredibly grateful to Louie for making it happen. Anybody who says anything bad about Louie, you're going to have to come to me because I think he is a wonderful guy. He's such a sweetheart. He loves Teresa to absolute death. And yet it couldn't have been a cooler, just more casual, laid back, chill experience. It really, really was. It was just the coolest thing ever. And, you know, while I was bummed that I didn't get to go see Teresa on Dancing with the Stars, you know, it's like, look how everything works out. So very, very thankful. And then after that, it was, well, I don't even know what I did after that. Oh, after that, I went and met up with some Bravo accounts like Best of Bravo, Haters, Hollaback Cards, Real Moms of Bravo. And this is the thing about New York. The bars don't be closing until like 3 and 4. And when you're drunk, you don't think about that. You're like, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It ain't fine. Especially when you have a convention where panels start at 10:30 the next morning and you pay good money to be there. So that's how we're going to get into Saturday because I got home real late, like 4 or 5 in the morning, and woke up for the convention on Friday. not feeling my best. And so obviously I was a little hungover, and then I just hadn't slept that much, like basically in 2 days at this point. But the day has arrived. I'm excited. I got my Vicky shirt on. I feel like my outfit looks cute. I get to Javits. Everyone's looking great. Everybody's in a good mood. Immediately start seeing people that recognize me, recognize the Instagram, the podcast, which was unfucking believable. Like, I met up with my friend. His name was Robbie. He had just moved to New York from here in Seattle. So we got to meet up and go to BravoCon together on Friday. And like a few hours into it, he was like, I swear to fucking God, I've taken 40 pictures of you already with people. And I was like, I know, it's the coolest thing ever. So I just fucking loved it. And I am not ashamed to admit it to anybody. I love it. Period. People coming up and be like, are you Christian Grace? No, I sure fucking am. I love it. I even called my mom at one point later that afternoon. I was like, I wish you could have seen the amount of people that knew who my gay ass was. Like, I could not believe it. It was trippy, but I loved it. And I was proud. I was really proud and happy in that moment. So first things first, Beverly Hills panel. That's what I was trying to get to. Okay. And unless you've been sleeping under a rock, you've probably already heard about what happened during the Beverly Hills panel. People rushed the fucking, like, so basically there were these like crazy amounts of lines. And then there was a long set of like these like black curtains. And on the other side of the black curtain were all the seats in the stage. And so you would file through the line, get to one end of the curtain, and then you were opened up to the area to go find your seat. Well, at some point, because they would let SVIPs in, VIPs in, and then the general admission people in. I was VIP, so I was already sitting in there, and it was already getting kind of buzzy. Like, ooh, there's a lot of people, a lot of energy going on. And then I guess people realized that the curtains like kind of opened up. So as they're like filing past these curtains, they realized that every once in a while, one of them could just sneak in to the seats. And not good, because next thing I knew, it was like fucking Lion King. Whenever he's sitting there and he's like, and then all of a sudden he hears the stampede coming, and you see him like fucking running. Bitch, that was me. I was sitting there just like hungover, trying to not throw up. Da-da-da-da-da. Where's the Beverly Hills Chicas? Where they at? And then, whoom, here the fuck. I just felt like this energy. People start running. The curtains were flying open. And I mean, it was insane. And I was like, if this is what this weekend is going to be like, no. So I'm sitting there. These people start like flying in. The aisles are slam packed. And I'm sitting there. And all of a sudden I was like, uh-oh. I don't feel good. Not like sick, like throw up, like chest started getting tight. I like put my hand on my friend Robbie's leg, and I'm just squeezing, and I'm like, I just don't feel right, starting getting really anxious. And I was like, oh my God, like all these people, I'm hot. Why is it getting so hot in here? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm just going to go splash some water in my face, pee, something. Just maybe take a deep breath, And I asked the guy on the way out, I was like, can I please get back in? I don't really feel that well. I need to just take a second. And he's like, yeah. The guy was very nice. He's like, yeah. Bitch, I could not find my way the fuck out of that place. I went to the door I came in, and they would not let me leave out of it. They're like, this is entrance only. They told me to go down the stairs to the left. So I went down the stairs to the left. When I got down the stairs to the left, they sent me back up to the stairs where I came from. Then they sent me back down to the left again. I'm going up and down these stairs. I can see the door. I can see people outside, but I cannot get outside. And I eventually was like, I am going to freak out. You've got to let me out of here. And this guy was like, okay, I got you. Just come on. So I get out. I find this like little quiet corner, like down by like the box office. I think it was like down by like press check-in. So it wasn't as busy as like, the check-in where all the attendees were. And I sit down, I take my jacket off. I'm trying to get some fresh air. And the first thing that comes to mind is to call my mom. I call my mom, and she's like, you are freaking the fuck out right now. You are having a panic attack. And I was just crying. I couldn't tell her why I was crying. I couldn't catch my breath. Everything was spinning. I was really, really hot. I was sweaty. And I just was so sad that I felt like, oh my God, I'm missing out on everything. And we just started, you know? So I had to sit out there and talk to my mom for like half an hour and get calmed down, y'all. I had a full-fledged panic attack. And I don't want to say it's because of the Beverly Hills panel stampede, but it kind of is. So if you are a part of that, you will be hearing from me. And period. So I do want to say this, though, is that, you know, I was open and honest about it. Like, because honestly, you know, I'm just an open book. I say everything that comes to mind about how I feel, like, especially like if I'm not feeling well physically or, you know, because I want to hear, like, has anyone else ever heard from this? Like, is anyone else experiencing this? And and also I think I was bummed that I felt like, because Friday, you know, aside from once I got back in there, I kind of was just walking around, taking it all in, you know, hanging out, meeting more people, going to the bazaar, which is like where all the Bravo Labs like line up their booths of products and stuff, and was really, really cool. But I was just kind of bummed. And so I posted like, I'm struggling major, like sitting outside Javits right now, like struggling. And the amount of people that either responded then or throughout the weekend, or that I ran into throughout the weekend, who told me that they had panic attacks on Friday. I ran into one lady who she had 2 panic attacks on Saturday. And, you know, and so then I started realizing, I was like, okay, this isn't just like a Christian being too fucking stupid and being like hungover thing. Like, obviously that had a factor. But I think, you know, the big takeaway was that like a lot of people were just really, really excited. There's 30,000 people there. There's a lot of energy buzzing around in a room. We're coming off the heels of being locked in our houses for a couple years. And, you know, like, I mean, I haven't been around that many people in a long time. I mean, yes, you go to concerts and stuff, but this was different, you know? And then plus your sensory overload. I mean, there was so much to do, so many people constantly wanted, you know, like that you wanted to talk to, that you saw their outfits or vice versa, like just constant sensory sensation, something. I don't even got the fucking word. Okay. So panic attack, full fucking panic attack Friday. Yeah. And I really am sad because the Beverly Hills panel was my moment to shine. Okay. I wanted to go in. I wanted to get in the audience line for questions. And whenever it came to me and they put the spotlight on me, I was going to be like, hi, my name is Christian Gray Snow. Garcelle, I love you. Miss you. Worked with you at The Real for the last 2 years. Wonderful to see you. Haven't seen you since January. Kyle, my OG, my forever girl. Dorit, the chicest bitch, the only one that could ever make me care about wind chimes. Crystal, forever. Sutton, my southern girl. Erica, almost criminal, not really. And then Renna. Hi, Renna. My name's Christian Snow. You might remember me from years of messaging on Instagram about your cast members. Most recently, Kathy Hilton. Before the Aspen trip, you blocked me and I no longer had access to the proof that you had been trying to have me leak the story about Kathy prior to filming or prior to the season starting. So before I ask you why you blocked me, I really want to do a quick survey around the room. Raise your hand if you have been blocked by Lisa Rinna. That was my fucking plan. But anxiety's a fucking bitch. And I didn't get to do it. But maybe it all happens for a reason. Maybe that's too messy and I didn't need to get my ass into all that. You know, maybe this was God saying, shut the fuck up. Could have been. But yeah, my biggest thing though is that I didn't get to see Garcelle. I like briefly messaged her after the weekend wrapped up. We did not see each other at all. Or Dorit or Sutton. So I was really bummed about that. Yeah. Really, really, really bummed that I didn't get to the Beverly Hills panel. Not even for the messiness of calling out Renna, but just because I really do like, that's the one cast where I actually love everyone. And so it would have just been a fun way, I think, to kick off. So, but you know, I'm grateful to have been there. It is what it is. And I put that anxiety attack under my ass and I kept fucking going, which is exactly what you should do. Okay. After day one of the convention, I was like, you know what? Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to get lots of rest tonight. And I'm going to be waking up tomorrow feeling fantastic. Fucking lie. I ended up meeting Vicky for dinner at Catch, Vicky and her sister Mary Ellen. And then I also got to meet Vicky's son Michael for the first time, who obviously, if you watched OC, Michael was, very, very commonly involved in the early seasons of the show. So that was pretty cool. Also, I want to say, like, I met up with, so Catch was like right by like where all the Bravo Lebs were staying. And I met up with them like on the corner, like outside their hotel. And then we walked like a block to Catch, and y'all, the people waiting outside the hotel, you would have thought it was the goddamn Beatles and that they were fucking alive. Like, I'm talking like they had like barricades and like security guards, and like people were just lined up, and like the shuttles would like roll up and like let people out, like if they were coming from, I guess either the convention or, oh no, it was like Watch What Happens Live or something had happened that night. So a lot of people were at that, and they would get off that van and people would just like roar. I was like, oh my God, like these people are fucking rock stars, So very, very, very cool to have seen that. Got home, you guessed it, about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I think this is the night that my Uber actually dropped me like a 10-minute walk from my hotel, and I didn't realize till they had pulled away. So there I was walking downtown New York at 5:30 in the morning, intoxicated to the point I probably couldn't have even written my name in cursive, and wandering around looking for my hotel. But I live to tell the tale, and that's all that matters.
BravoCon.
BravoCon. All right, Saturday I rolled up, and I think Saturday was the day that like it really started hitting people like, okay, we got to start taking better care of ourselves. Because like I don't even know that I saw any friends there on Saturday. Like everyone that I knew that was there, I don't even think I saw. I made it to a panel about, let's see, I think it was about iconic vacations or moments or something like that. It was with Kyle, Vicky, Sheree, and Margaret Josephs. And I was so bummed the day before because I had tried to get a picture with Sheree, and I was in line, and like not 5 people. I was probably like 10 people away from Sheree when they ended her meet and greet. And I was like, fuck me in the ass. Like all I wanted was a picture with Sheree this weekend. And that's like the one, like I knew I would get to see Teresa. Like I knew I'd probably see Vicky. I knew I'd probably make something work with Kyle, but I was like, I need a photo with Sheree. That's all I need. And so, needless to say, I almost had a fucking meltdown when that happened. But, whatever. So fast forward to Saturday, she's on this panel. And if I was smart, I would have probably just asked Vicky, like, hey, can you please get me back so I can ask for a picture with Sheree? But I don't like to do shit like that. And so at the end of the panel, they walk off and people just like kind of stand by the stage, and Sheree was walking by, and I just said, Sheree, all I wanted this weekend was a photo with you, and they fucked up my life yesterday. Can I please have one? And she walked right on over and she gave me a picture, and it was lovely. And listen, Sheree, you know what? I might not be out here buying Sheree's $800 hoodies, but I'm going to be in her corner forever. Okay. Know that. So can I be honest? That's pretty much all I remember from Saturday. That's all. I went to the Lisa Rinna beauty truck because she was too stupid to get involved in time to have all her products in the bazaar there. So she had to send a truck outside like 2 blocks away. But yeah, I walked by and, got my little shady picture. It is what it is. Saturday was busy. It was probably the busiest day of the convention, because they have like 1-day tickets too. So craziness. But before moving on, I do want to say, whoever the girls were that I did a dinner at Fig and Olive in New York with Vicky and her sister-in-law for Mary Ellen's birthday. Happy birthday, Mary Ellen. Love you. And these girls started sending over tequila shots. And I just want to say, listen, your girl, I do not do shots. I don't do shots ever. And when I do shots, they certainly are not of tequila. Okay. But these girls sent over Casamigos. And I was like, well, call me Denise Richards because I did it and it was delicious. So surprise. Am I a tequila girly now? I don't know. But yeah, I was very, very surprised. Anyway, and I just think that it was so cool that people, that that people did that for Vicky. So if you're one of the girls that was doing that and you're listening, thank you for being so fucking cool. That was awesome. And you got me tore up again. And because of you, I ended up going out after that. And you guessed it, I got home at 4:00 again on Saturday night. I'm failing miserably at this point. BravoCon. All right, we have made it to day 3, Sunday, the final day of BravoCon, and I want to say this is the point where I'm finally feeling good. Like the day before, I think I was still a little bit worried that something similar to Friday would happen again. So it was like I couldn't really like let myself enjoy it as much as I wanted to, if that makes sense. But Sunday, I felt like Sunday was my best day because for me, not necessarily because of like what was happening, but just because it was the day that I felt most tuned in. And the day where I was like, okay, like by that time I knew where everything was, I knew what was going on. I don't know. I just felt more comfortable. And also Sunday was slow as shit compared to the other 2 days. So if you're ever going and only want to do one day and you want like to take your time, I would do the final day because there was like no one there compared to the first 2 days, like for real. So Sunday started off with the Real Housewives of Miami panel. Girl, let me tell y'all, you when you go to these panels, it's like you can literally see why these women were cast for these shows. Like I know that obviously we see it when we watch, but there's something different about watching them in person and watching like how quick they are with it. And like, I mean, they were on it. Like I'm sure you'll hear a lot of people talk about if they're doing recaps, like it was like watching a reunion, and like it was like watching a reunion, like without editing. Like they were literally just like throwing the ball back and forth. Like, so it seems we're going to see a lot of shifting alliances in season 5 of Miami. I thought that my biggest takeaway was, Lisa talking about her divorce and how she's like, obviously we all sign up for this show to show the good, the bad, and the ugly, but it sucks when, it's good for so many years and you're kind of used to it. And then really, really, really bad shit happens. And this is my job. I have to be honest. I have to show it. And she talks about how her divorce was unexpected and devastating. And that she said, really, if it wasn't for the fans of the show and the women around her, like she's like, I wouldn't have gotten fucking through it. So, just kind of a sappy moment to remind us all, I guess, kind of what the points of these shows are, is like sisterhood and friendship and getting through life together. And it was a really, really nice moment to hear Lisa thank everyone around her, even despite there being a little bit of drama and tension on stage amongst the various cast members. In that moment, they were all undoubtedly just ready to put it down and be like, absolutely. If Lisa needs us, we're fucking here for her. And I was like, that's my shit. I will say the best part about the convention for me is getting like trailer releases. So I got to see them release the Miami trailer on Sunday. And then also later I went to see Vicky and some of the other girls at the Ultimate Girls Trip. I think it was the Ultimate Girls Trip panel. It was something with Hilton. Dave Quinn hosted. Dave did a fantastic job, by the way. And it was incredible because I'm sitting there watching and it's Vicky and Tamara and Dorinda and Jill and Brandy. And Brandy looks fucking bomb, by the way. I just want to say that. Taylor Armstrong, Phaedra. And then they surprise us and the Ultimate Girls Trip 3 girls walk out. So Heather Gay, Candace, Marisol, Alexia, Giselle. And then we got a sneak peek at, well, not a sneak peek, we got to see the whole fucking trailer for season 3 of Ultimate Girls Trip. And so, like, I'm going to talk about highlights and regrets in just a second. But for me, one of the biggest highlights is getting to see the trailers, to know that you have something to look forward to. I did tell a couple people, I think that Bravo should have done like a big release each day, because it seemed like they saved all the releases till Sunday. But maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, it was so fucking cool. There was something that happened in the Ultimate Girls Trip panel that I didn't really like. And it was, Tamara said something on stage to Vicky, like, don't tell me what to do. And when they asked about it, Vicky basically said on stage, like, because Tamara had mentioned something about Phaedra having an engagement ring on. And Vicky said, she doesn't want to talk about that. Don't mention it. And Tamara's like, don't tell me what to do. And it's like, you're sitting on the same stage as the woman that you got upset because she was talking about you coming back to Housewives, but you're going to go on a public platform and expose someone's engagement when they don't want you to do that, and then get mad at Vicky for telling you to shh. Also, I had tweeted on Sunday that I was really pretty much only going to see Kyle because when I had tried to see her on Saturday, her line was so long and I waited in it for over an hour, which I hate to do. I hate waiting in line for anything. And I could see her and they pulled her. And so this is so fucking cool. I messaged Kyle on Instagram. I was like, can you fucking believe that happened? And she was like, okay, well, I'll be here tomorrow. You be there. We'll make it happen. And she got my number. And so I'm in line and all of a sudden I'm getting a call. I answer, I'm like, hello. And it's Kyle. She's like, where are you? And I'm like trying to tell her where I'm at. And so she sends security to find me. I ended up getting tagged in an Instagram video. You can see Kyle on the phone being like, or walking around being like, where's Christian? Y'all, Kyle got me out of line. Got a security guard to come grab me out of line. Have me come walk up past everybody, take my picture. And I got to stand there and just like kind of hang out while she was doing her meet and greet. We were going to kiki after, but they literally pull these bitches away so fast. It's like a fucking hurricane. Like, so I like turned around and she was gone. I was like, oh, so anyway, but she got me up there and she texted me after. She was like, where the fuck did you go? I'm like, I don't know. Where the fuck did you go? But how cool is that? So like, now, I got to get with my girl, Vicky. I had this amazing experience with Teresa. And then Sunday, I finished it off getting a great picture with Kyle. Iconic. BravoCon. BravoCon. Moving on. Let's start with highlights, regrets, and takeaways. Not start. We're going to move to highlights, regrets, and takeaways. And we're going to start with regrets so we can end on a high note, okay? With highlights. All right? Regret number 1. My regret is that I feel like I missed a lot. And I didn't make it to any panels on Friday. I only made it to one on Saturday. And I will say something about being in those panels gave me like anxiety. And I don't know if it was because the first one I attempted to go into was a shit show and I thought I was going to be trampled, or I don't know. I don't know what it was, but like now looking ahead to next year, like I'm already so excited for the panels, even though we don't even know what the panels are going to be, like just because there's so much that goes on in them. And I mean, and they come to play in the panels. The girls and these cast members, they come to fucking play in these panels, y'all. So, but yeah, I would say that was my biggest regret. I'm kind of beating myself up for the things I didn't get to. There were also a lot of like interactive experiences and like photo ops and things that I didn't do just because like lines were long. And I was like, oh, I'll get to it later. And then the narrator, he never got to it later. I never got to it. So yeah, I would say that was, probably my biggest regret, is that I should have been more proactive about getting on things. Also, and I felt like, those first 2 days, I was like, I'm here and have people that are following that want to see like what's going on. And I felt like I wasn't posting and giving nearly enough. So if you felt that way too, I totally understand. Sorry if I didn't give you the content you were looking for day 1 and day 2. But by the time I got into those panels, well, a little bit on day 2, but day 3, I was putting stuff out there for y'all. So, yeah, next year, don't stay out till 5 a.m. Get rest. Maybe pop a Xanax before, and don't be a part of the Lion King Stampede, people. If that were you, be better. Thank you. Jingle. BravoCon jingle. I'm at. Highlight, undoubtedly, and I'm going to try to get through this without crying because I talked about it at work yesterday and I literally cried. I felt like a fucking rock star walking through BravoCon. I have never in my life been in a place where people knew me, knew my content, knew my podcast, knew Abby, knew my shop. And I mean, listen, I assumed like it would happen a couple times, but y'all, like, I lie you not, like, just the first day I told you my friend Robbie was there, and he, at one point, he was like, you have to be up to at least 50 photos, like at least 50. Like, and so if any of y'all were there that came up to me and asked for a picture, or said hi, I just want to say, a lot. And I had people be like, you make our day. You made our day. And I was like, you are making mine. Like, I cannot believe that there's even one person in this room that likes me like that. Like, that is so cool, and so I guess I don't know. I guess I just don't really, I don't know. I don't really recognize that people are clicking with it. Like, I see comments, and I know, like, I love to make people laugh, with silly memes and reels and all that shit. But wow, to just really, really have that experience of like seeing your faces and hearing about, you, and hearing people coming and saying they listen to the podcast with their kids on the way to school. And I'm like, well, let me stop cursing, hello. So, I mean, just, I could not, I will never, ever, ever get over the love that I felt. I can't even imagine how someone that is on a show or something like that must feel, because walking around little old me was just like, I felt like it was almost, it was almost like constant. And, so I'm so thankful for that. I really, really am. And it was such a treat getting to meet y'all and find out where you're from and who your favorites are and who you hate the most. And most of you have good taste, most of you. But yeah, I even called my mom and I was like, I wish so bad you could see this. Like, this is the craziest shit I've ever seen. Like, yeah. So, yeah, I just wanted to say thank y'all for that. Y'all, honestly, y'all made me feel like Sally fucking Field when she won her Oscar forever ago. Like, I've never felt so recognized. I was like, you really like me.
And I can't deny the fact that you like me right now. You like me.
I've already said too that my favorite part really was getting ready to see the new content, the trailers, from Miami, Ultimate Girls Trip 3. And me, who was not even that excited about Ultimate Girls Trip 3, I'm sorry, that trailer was fucking good. Good. So sign me up. That was a big highlight. Another one is obviously getting to see, I told you guys, like, seeing all of you was wonderful, but getting to see my other fellow content creators, Maggie, Best of Bravo, Haters, Real Moms of Bravo, the boys from About Bravo. I got to meet them, and they're just wonderful. So please make sure you're listening to their podcast About Bravo too. Faces by Bravo, Steve. He was my bestie from back in West Hollywood, my neighbor, my sister, and we hadn't seen each other in 9 months. So we got to be reunited. I got to see Spencer Lubitz, my friend who works for E! News, that was a reporter. Haven't seen him in much. Joe Gonzalez, shout out to you. I mean, it was like a reunion to so many people that I have seen before and that I love and I got to see again, and so many people that I got to meet for the first time that I felt like I knew because we followed each other for so long. So that was just, I mean, I think that for anything, if anyone wants to go to BravoCon, go for the people that you will see outside of Bravo. You will find such a sense of community and camaraderie with these people. Professional, not professional, just fans, not fans. I mean, it's just, you will find your people. I promise you. You will find your people at BravoCon.
BravoCon. BravoCon.
BravoCon. I will say my biggest takeaway, honestly, from BravoCon.
BravoCon. BravoCon.
BravoCon is that Bravo's not going anywhere. I mean, just seeing these amounts of people and the excitement and the passion and the desire and the demand for more and more and more, and the fact that there are still demands and desires to have relationships with people that were on our TVs 20 years ago. It's like, yeah, we want new relationships with people, but we still want to foster the ones that we've been having with these people all these years too. I mean, what I'm saying is that Bravo's not going anywhere. Housewives is not going anywhere. In the days of ratings being low, we all talk about how it's not what it used to be. And like, there are times as a fan, you're like, damn, like, how much longer are these things going to last? And I personally feel, after seeing the excitement and the energy and the stampede of Beverly Hills, that there is no way that Bravo or Housewives is going anywhere anytime soon. We good, y'all. We good. We got content coming for years. I swear to God. That's like one of my biggest takeaways from BravoCon.
BravoCon. BravoCon. BravoCon.
Other biggest takeaway is that Whitney Rose and Heather Gay hate each other. Hate. And I didn't even make it to the Salt Lake City panel. And they said now I said that the panels were like reunions. They said the Salt Lake one was dead ass like a reunion. Like they were like fucking going at it. But just based off things that heard this weekend and like the energy I saw in the videos, it ain't no little feud. Okay, it ain't no little prick, in the words of Whitney. It's a big old fucking thorn. Fucked up. The relationship is fucked up. And how bad is it that my takeaway? That was the takeaway. Just saying.
BravoCon. BravoCon. BravoCon.
All right, and before I get into some of your Instagram questions, I did just want to get a little sappy again. Like, I just want to say, anyone who knows me for the longest time, like I've always said, my top 3 faves: Teresa, Vicky, Kyle. Sheree, Kim Richards is in there. And so it's not lost on me that my first BravoCon, I had 3 incredible experiences. One, which is just gallivanting around with Vicky a couple of times, because how cool is that? Number 2, getting to go to dinner with Teresa Giudice. Hello. And then number 3, my other third favorite was Kyle, getting me out of line and making sure I got that picture. And I don't know. I'm just a sentimental fuck. I really am. I'm a Cancer. I'm sappy. I'm emotional. I get sensitive. I do. But I just think that there was something poetic about knowing that I walked away with 3 very unique experiences with my 3 faves at my first BravoCon. And I undoubtedly know that the only reason that happens is because, people like y'all that are listening and supporting my crazy content and following me and reposting, it's how the Vickies and Teresas and the Kyles have seen, that they have little old me over here supporting them and standing by them relentlessly. So, yeah, it's y'all that I have to thank for helping make these experiences happen. The reason I'm even at BravoCon, the reason I get to, go and hang out with these women that we've loved so much and supported all these years is undoubtedly because of y'all. So I love y'all. I really, really do. And I said before, look at the difference. Last BravoCon, I was alone in bed crying and dying because I was having so much FOMO. And this time, because of y'all and y'all's support and over my content and the show, I was there having probably the 3 best, coolest experiences that I've ever had. So buckle up. I can only imagine where we will be next year at BravoCon, ladies and gentlemen. Who knows? So thank you for everything. And I will see y'all at BravoCon next year.
BravoCon. BravoCon. BravoCon.
All right, everybody. We're going to put the cherry on top of this BravoCon episode.
BravoCon. BravoCon. BravoCon.
By answering some of your questions. I got a lot. I'll be honest, I'm running overtime with my producer for this week, so I'm going to get as many of these as we possibly can. The first that I'm going to get to is because I opened my mouth the other day on my flight home about how there was somebody that all right, I'm going to preface this by saying this person was not mean to me. They were not rude to me. I just felt like maybe I would have gotten a little more from them. Okay. And it was Tamara. I saw Tamara by the Vina booth. Got a quick selfie with her, but I felt like when I looked at her, I don't know, I was like, does she not? I know that this bitch knows who I am. Like, I know that she knows who I am because we've talked for I don't know how long. And then combine that with, I went to Vicky's meet and greet. Was helping. I went like live on Vicky's Instagram and stuff for her. I told told her and Mary Ellen, I was like, when you have a meet and greet, let me know. I'll come help. So did that. And I walk in and, obviously, look, there's a lot of fucking people there. And Tamara's there. And like, I see her, but it's like there was nothing. Like, she didn't say a word to me. She didn't. And if she did, I missed it. And I thought it would at least been like a, hey, hi, how are you? Like, we've only DM'd each other back and forth on Twitter here and there. I'm one of these Bravo accounts you engage with. I mean, you've been on the pod. I know that you know that I hang with Vicky, or that I love Vicky anyway. So, but listen, I'm, it's fine. I don't think there was any like bad feelings. I just think that maybe I went in with a little bit of my hopes too high. I'll admit that maybe she even knew who the fuck I was. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she's like, I don't know who the fuck this guy is. And maybe that's the truth. But it just wasn't what I was expecting. And I also want to say I will give her the out and the credit too. Like, y'all, like I said, I mean, I just told you I had a full fucking panic attack the first day just walking around. I can't imagine how overwhelming it was for these Bravo celebrities, and they were exhausted. They're doing panels, they're doing pictures, they're doing, all kind of interviews, they're doing all kinds of stuff. So I get it. Trust me. This is not like a shit talking thing, but I'm looking through the things right now, the questions. Who was not nice? Who was the rudest? Who did you not have the best experience with? Reveal who was rude. Did anybody piss you off? It wasn't, Tamara was not rude to me. I am not pissed off at Tamara. I'm still going to watch season 17 with bells and whistles, and I'm going to woohoo. But that was truthfully the only experience I had where I was like, oh, like I wish that we would have had a little more there. That's all. And there were a couple panels I went to that I just felt like she didn't show much support to Vicky. Like I mentioned, the Ultimate Girls Trip 3 one, how she like told Vicky, don't tell me what to do, when Vicky was just trying to, I think, remind her like, Phaedra doesn't want to talk about a potential engagement ring. Like, don't talk about that. And then at the OC panel, like of somebody in the audience or someone asked like, who wants Vicky back on the show? Like asking the cast. And unless my eyes deceived me, I saw like Heather raise her hand. I think Shannon raised her hand. And unless my vision's going, I saw Tamara go like the half raise. And listen, this is Tamara Judge we were talking about. Tamara Barney, the original. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is one of the greatest housewives and producers of our time. Maybe Tamara's just giving the people what they want. She could be. And if so, thank you. Maybe she was just being a little shady for the sake of the panel and having fun, or maybe she's upset with Vicky and there's something, I don't know. But that was just my experience. Okay? That was my experience. No hard feelings. There's people out here saying that, like Melissa Gorga was like straight up rude to people. I did hear, and also I did hear from a couple people that Giselle wasn't the friendliest. It was nothing like that. I had no experience like that whatsoever. But of the experiences that I had, this simply was the one that wasn't the best. I think. Is that okay to say? I just don't want any hard feelings. I don't want any problems, but I also wanted to answer the question. I love Tamara. I love Vicky. I don't want, so let's not make that a thing. Okay. It's Josh Ramon. Did you leave being a new fan of a housewife you weren't before? If so, and why? Y'all, I'm going to say this and I can take it back at any time. I might be becoming a Candace fan. I said it! It was the Bob. I'm sorry. I saw that bob at BravoCon, just like the way that it was bobbing around. I was like, that was a vibe. I loved her bob. And also, like, I saw her on the Ultimate Girl Strip 3 panel, and she was just funny. And I don't know. I think that's the cool thing about, I did a survey from the people that sold BravoCon tickets, and they were, one of the questions was, did you feel that BravoCon allowed you to see Bravo celebrities differently? And I was like, yeah. Like, Candace was just like, I don't know. I felt like she was fun. So yeah. Am I becoming a basset hound for the love of God? Who knows? All right, we'll see. All right. Another question. Danny77751. What is your take on Joe Gorga coming at Jen Aiden? I mean, thank God that shit happened before I saw them, because I'm sure that poor Jen was in a weird space after that. And also, aren't the Gorgas now saying that Jen was saying shit to them before? I don't believe that for a fucking second. Like, and also, to everyone saying that Jen shouldn't have thrown something, it was a literal plastic cup with this much water in it. And he told her to suck a dick and called her a dirty bitch. So, and also, like, and she didn't say anything wrong. All she said was that they're hanging on by a thread. And quite literally, this little stunt from them in the lobby of their hotel proves that they are hanging on by a thread, because they're pulling and doing every fucking thing that they can on and off camera, trying to get shit popping so that they have a reason to renew their contracts. If you'll know, this wasn't the only time that they acted up at BravoCon. Also, when Joe Gorga was asked what would last longer, his fucking stand-up career or Teresa's marriage to Louis, which is quite literally a joke, since his stand-up career has had all of one show in which he was booed and I don't even think sold the fuck out. Anyway, he had to go up and make some pompous ass joke that, of course, his career would last longer than Tree's marriage or something like that. Like, you have the opportunity to take the high road and throw the nice little, roll a nice little dice of kindness, and you didn't do it. You always take the low road. And so, you know what? It makes it that much easier to believe what Jen is saying about them has some validity. They know their time is nearing, and they're acting out. So that's how I feel. Screw them. Margot Lindley, what would you change for the next BravoCon if they asked you to plan it? I jokingly said I would make it 4 days and give everybody a day off in the middle, because I was just so exhausted. But I think I would start it later. I would start the panels later in the day, because the reality is that a lot of people are in a city. We're in an amazing city, or in New York. So if they're going to continue to do it in New York, I think they need to allow time for people to have, the time zone changes. People are out and about a lot later. So I would start that. I would also, unfortunately, while there were so many people there and I loved it, they have to do less tickets, which probably means more expensive tickets, or they have to figure out a way to have more meet and greets so that people have more to do, or they have to make the meet and greets longer, because even I in the VIP line missed out on Kyle the first time. And I'm so grateful to Kyle for getting me that second day, because there were so many people, y'all, that didn't have pictures. And I saw that a few times, and that's with a VIP ticket. So, and I love the event. The event was flawless. It was wonderful, but there's just no reason you should be paying $1,000 for a VIP ticket and wait in any line and not get to do what you want. So what I think they should do is have cutoff marks for each line. Like, every single meet and greet is okay, anybody above this line is guaranteed a picture, period. Anybody after, it's basically just fingers crossed, we'll try and get to you if we can, depending on time and who's left. That way, attendees have the option to decide if they want to invest their time there waiting if they happen to arrive late or something, or if there's something else they would rather go do instead. Because the thing is when you miss somebody, that whole time you really could have been doing something else. I was waiting for Kyle, and bitch, I was fucking hungry. I could have been eating, So I would suggest that. I also really, really, really suggest a partnership with Calm, or some sort of herbal tea, or some sort of microdose company, or something, BetterHelp, a therapy company, to have a chill zone. I think there should be a chill zone where, people walk around to make sure that you aren't talking really at all. I think you should have room to places to charge your phones, chill, have some nice like eucalyptus aromatherapy rolling in there, water, cool, dark, low blue lights, because it is so overwhelming and overstimulating. And I often found there was just nowhere to go to collect yourself. And you don't want to leave, I want to I want to get my money's worth. So I think just a place to chill, maybe put some like old vintage housewives up on the episode and be like, when you enter here, this is a place to just, zip it. Yeah, that's what I would say. Ludsy girl, I know VIP is worth it, but what about SVIP? I'm already saving my money for SVIP next year. I'm going to sell feet pics, body pics. Don't nobody want any pictures of this body. Dick pics. I mean, I'm going to sell my soul, whole body, whatever it takes to get SVIP next year, because they have SVIP lounges where Bravo celebrities go and like hang out. And they have like, I think that's where they have like little Bravo, like housewives, like not Bravo, like happy hour type event things. And you can just pop in. It's like being in an airport and getting access to the lounge. You know what I'm saying? So I want to do that. And somebody told me that drinks are included, which, do you know how much I spent on drinks this weekend? I think they were like 13 or 14 each. And I had no less than 5 or 6 a day. So probably worth it in the long run. And there were times like I was in meet and greets and there was like 5 minutes left before they would pull them, and people with the SVIP would just walk up and get their picture. Boom. So like you don't really have to plan time for anything. You just walk up and do it as long as they're there. So SVIP, definitely worth it. VIP is totally worth it too. But SVIP was a lot of money. It was like $2,000. That's a lot of fucking money, especially when you factor in hotels, all that stuff too. So yeah, I definitely say VIP and SVIP are both worth it. Chase Green, who you hooked up with? I didn't hook up with anybody at BravoCon, but I will say this, and this is a shocker. My friends are tore up over this one because I'm not really one to like date or like any like ever like people, like guys. Like I just like admire from afar. I'm a Sonia Morgan. Hit it, quit it, move on. I don't call it a walk of shame. I call it a victory lap. Okay, it is what it is. That's just how I am. However, I didn't hook up with anybody at BravoCon, but I met a very, 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 very cute, handsome, sweet boy at BravoCon, who I'm still talking to now, still this week. We're still keeping in touch, a couple days later, and I hope that we continue to keep in touch. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? In the words of Vicky, my tank is full and I'm driving into my future. Ha ha! Just kidding. All right. Thank y'all so much for listening to this episode about all things BravoCon. I can't recommend enough. If you love Bravo, if you love Housewives, start saving your pennies now. It will be the best 3 days of your life. Even me, who suffered from severe anxiety for the first day and a half, to the point where a 30-year-old man, was outside crying on the phone to my mother. I still walked away saying that it was the best 3 days of my entire life. So I can't recommend it enough. I not only hope that you get to make it to BravoCon next year, as do I hope that I get to see you there. So any more questions about BravoCon, please feel free to DM me on Instagram at Christian Grace No. Feel free to get your Real Housewives merch at theslutpigshop.com, and feel free to please rate, subscribe, and send this podcast to your friends. Hope y'all have a good one. Do be safe this weekend. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, which means you're free to go be a crazy hoe. Bye, y'all.